I walked into the snow with my gun in hand and a determination to kill. I was 8. My family and I lived in the New Mexican mountains just outside of a small town called Daddle. And if you've never heard of Daddle, it's because you've never finally gone over a map of New Mexico with a magnifying glass. There was little to do other than explore the tree-covered hills or dry yellow plains. With any luck, you'd run across a discarded elk antler or a horny toad, both equally entertaining to a young boy, but at this point in my life, both equally familiar. But life was about to get more interesting with the introduction of a BB gun into my life. My father had just bought it for me for Christmas, and I loved it. I'd pretend to be a sniper or a cowboy, or my favorite at the time, a big game hunter. I had developed a fascination with hunting, brought on about by stories of Theodore Roosevelt and his hunt trips to Africa. I would have given anything to hunt an elephant. I'd often pretend that my inanimate targets, tin cans mostly, were wild animals. I'd tear through the metal with ease and gloat in satisfaction of taking them down, but cans did not hold my fascination for long. There came a day when I wanted to move up in the world of hunting and needed to find something that moved. And this brisk, snowy day was a perfect day to find that target. The landscape was quite different, covered in white powder and glistening in the sunlight. It was much like a new world, and it was my new world. Well practiced and dead set on mission, I began my trek to hunt the only prey I knew I could find immediately: birds. Snow crunched under my boots as I made for the tree line near my house. Birds flew in and out of the branches, and I shot at them, missing every time. I need to conserve my ammo, I thought, and I decided it would be in my best interest to shoot at perched birds. Give me better odds. As I walked through the trees, I would notice different birds of varying sizes and colors perched high above and around me. I would aim and fire quickly, but my shot was always a little too late to catch them. They were always a wing beat away from me. Frustration was setting in. I had been out there too long and had missed too many birds. I had nothing to show for it. And then an idea popped into my head. I'll hide, I thought. I'll crouch underneath a tree with branches that are not so far from the ground and wait for a bird to land on a limb that's close to me. So I sat under a small tree, pumped my rifle, and began to wait. After a short time, a small sparrow perched right above my head. Not exactly the most convenient shot, but I did try to reposition myself as best I could. The bird, however, was not so comfortable with me moving underneath him and decided to fly away. A not so poor decision on his part. So still I waited and I waited and I waited until my fingers began to numb and it was time to go. As I moved to get up, a little brown and white bird sat itself on the branch right in front of me. It was perfect. So I raised my gun up slowly, aimed directly at the bird's head, and fired. The bird's feathered body hit the snow with little more than a slight poof. Was I successful in my hunt? No, I was not. Something was wrong. The bird wasn't dead and began to flap madly in the snow, flicking little dots of blood all around its body and all over my yellow boots. This wasn't part of my plan. I was supposed to stalk and kill and return to my home, a triumphant hunter, to be the ultimate symbol of manhood. Instead, I have a poor little bird dying slowly in the snow. What should I do now? I watched only for a few moments and decided what must be done. I pumped my rifle, grabbed the bird, held it down with my left hand, placed the barrel of the gun behind its head, and fired. A spray of black and red hit the snow in front of me, and I panicked. I quickly dug through the snow and into the ground, where I placed the bird's body and filled it in. I said a prayer, and I told the bird I was sorry, little help it did him then, and made my way back home. I went into the house and bypassed any interaction with my mom or dad and went straight to my room. I set my gun down by the door. I removed my warm clothing, jacket, scarf, hat, pants, and put on my pajamas. I picked my gun back up and put it in the back of my closet, and then I went to my bed, and then I cried. I wasn't ready for the reality I dug myself into, and there was no way I could dig myself out now.